Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So today's video is going to be how I school different grades. I have a second grader, third grader, and a almost 3-year-old. My toddler is going to be 3 in October. So I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and just things that I personally do to kind of navigate that. Lots of tips for the toddler. But before we start the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, all the good things. Also head to Instagram or TikTok if you have one. We are Homeschool Homies over there as well. So I have the privilege of my 2 oldest kids being 1 grade apart. So not only does that help with the interest led stuff, they're usually kind of interested in the same things, so it's easy to do family subjects together. And you can do family subjects obviously with multiple grades, but it makes it just a lot easier because I don't have to do, like, let's say a history lesson and then have their independent work be at grade level. Their independent work is very similar, or their project or their activity is very similar or the same, to be honest, most of the time. So it's usually more difficult when we have to do the subjects that they don't share. So that's only English and math. I feel like eventually we might get to a point where we're mixing levels and stuff, but for now they're at their grade level. We do them at the same time. So this is how I would do it last year. So usually one of my kids will begin math and kind of take off without much instruction, and the other will wait for me. So it makes it a little bit easier for me to start with her, the one that's waiting, and the other one will kind of, start doing the problems. So after I'm done explaining the concept to the one that was waiting for me, I will have her try a few on her own, and then I will check in with my other one, and then I will check her work. I'll kind of help her with the ones that she didn't get right and all this stuff. So as far as activities go, anytime I do an activity with one of them, the other one wants to join along. So what I do there, especially if it's the older one wanting to be included in the younger one's activity, obviously it'll be easier for her. So I try to have my younger child do it first alone and do a few on her own. Of course, I'm AirPod. And then I will include my older kid, so you kind of just want to make sure that they do feel included, but also making sure that your child that is actually learning the concept is getting the chance to learn it and not just getting all the answers from the older one. So we did have to work on that a little bit, not really last year, but maybe the year before, like especially when my younger one was in kindergarten and my older one was in 1st grade. She loved giving her answers and like telling her and stuff, and she would say, I'm just helping her. So we had to kind of, explain the differences between, helping and, kind of just giving the answer. So yeah, now they're a lot better about it. For English, last year we did a very relaxed like English language arts situation. So a lot of the time we would do independently, maybe like twice a week, and then the other 2 times we would do it together, the concept together. And this year it's going to be totally separate. So my plan for that is going to be, once we're done with math, because we do math first, and then once we're going to move on to English, whoever finishes first, I'll start them on the English right after while the other is finishing math. So that way we kind of get a head start. So another way is keeping in mind the lesson. So like if the lesson is something new, a new concept for one, and then something easier for the other, then obviously one can be a little bit more independent than the other one. So just kind of maybe pre-reading or pre-looking at the lesson so you are aware of that, and that makes it a little bit easier to know which one to kind of start with or give a little bit more attention to than the other. But another example is if they're both learning new concepts or they're both struggling with the lessons, or I know that the lessons are going to be difficult for both of them, then I will have one of them take a break, and I'll say, oh hey, go get a snack or go play with Mavis for a little bit, and I'm going to start with your sister, and then I'll call you once we're good and I'm ready for you, kind of thing. So I will just have one of them take a break, start with the other one. Once I feel like they're doing good, then I'll call the other one in, and then we'll start with them. So definitely kind of just feeling it out. I don't have just like a set way that I do it, but it definitely just depends on the lesson and also like the temperament of the kids. Sometimes they're ready to go, they're doing it on their own, they're not even waiting for me, and sometimes they're just kind of like, you know, so, and have to kind of, you know, encourage them. So yeah, that's how I kind of deal with the independent subjects. As far as family subjects, I will just modify them according to, again, their temperament. Like sometimes they want to write a lot, sometimes they don't, sometimes they haven't written in a while, and I want them like, hey, look, it's been like 3 lessons and you haven't felt like, you know, doing copy work or doing, you know, whatever it is. And, you know, I'll tell them like, so today, you know, I'm going to need you to do that kind of thing, you know. So just kind of letting them know, being aware of what's going on, and they're usually pretty good about it. Oh, and then another way that you can kind of have an easier time is, let's say you have a lesson and you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna do that activity because like we already did an activity with her yesterday and it took a while, or oh, we already have a big activity for this lesson, I'm just gonna do it with some number cards, or I'm going to do it in just a more basic, simple way. And you can choose to kind of omit the activity because you have another activity that's going to be better or a little bit more interesting, and you know, they're going to like it more and stuff like that. So just to be aware of the rest of the day and how it's looking, and you can put a little bit more effort, you know, into the other lesson, and then that'll free up time for the other kid so that you can, you know, actually do the lesson with them because maybe they haven't done a lesson, or maybe, you know, what have you. So those are kind of the ways that I kind of finagle my way through the lessons and make sure that everyone's kind of on the same page and that we have a good flow going on. So all that to say, make it your own and make it work for you and your family. Okay, so now to the toddler. So I haven't done any formal schooling with her. Obviously, she's a toddler. A lot of her schooling is just going to be playing and, you know, me setting up some stations for her. So this is the plan, okay? I'm not telling you that this is going to work 100% or, you know, whatever, but I'm also taking some things that I would do last year as well, like before we would start school, so that I know that I'd be prepared and I wouldn't have to like stop as much, you know. So the first thing is I make sure to have a snack, like a balanced snack, not some crackers or whatever. I make sure like I'll cut up an apple, I'll have some, you know, a cheese stick on hand and like some crackers, but I'll hide it, you know. I won't, like, I'll make sure she doesn't see me, and I'll hide it, I'll put it somewhere where she doesn't see it, and then that way I'll have that, you know, once I feel like she could use a snack. And then another thing that I try to make sure to do is to have some one-on-one time with her before we start school. Like, even if it's just cuddling with her on the couch or reading her a book, or, you know, kind of just tickling her and just like, you know, sometimes she'll help me with things like she likes to crack eggs, so, you know, she can help me with breakfast, or this morning she wanted to help me with towels. She's very helpful, she always wants to help, so she was learning to fold towels this morning. So anything like that where it's just intentional time. So I noticed that when I do that, she lasts a little bit longer when she's on the iPad. She's not a big iPad kid, like she will be on the iPad, but she'll get bored and she'll just take off and just start playing with stuff, or she'll come look for me. So I try to do that. I try to like have some one-on-one time with her and make sure I kind of fill her little love cup, and then I will, you know, go and do what I gotta do and give her the iPad. So usually right now our mornings is at 8. They have iPad time from 8 to 10. And the reason for that is so that I can have my like self-care time. So that's when I'll go work out, and I will shower and I'll get ready for the day. And then at 10 is when we start school. So we still do that right now, even though we don't start school at 10. We still do iPad time from 8 to 10 so I can have that time in the morning. I will usually try to have some one-on-one time with her before 8, and then I can give her the iPad. Sometimes she doesn't, like, she wants to be with me and she doesn't want the iPad right now, so I'm trying to figure out how to do that. So we'll see once school starts, but for the most part she's pretty good about it. She likes to be with her sisters while I'm working out and stuff, so they are really good with her. They help me out, honestly, between 8 and 10, and they kind of let her play with toys, or they'll get her a snack, or they'll get her water. You know, they kind of help me out in that time so that I can go work out and shower and stuff. So my plan is when we start school, I will have one-on-one time with her at like usual in the morning, but then I'll give her the iPad, and then once we're ready for school, I'm gonna set up like 2 or 3 little stations for her to bounce around and just kind of roam, let her play with what she wants to play. She has a little bit of toys in the schoolroom, she has some toys in the living room, so she's kind of gonna free roam a little bit. And as we do lessons, me and my older 2 will kind of check in with her and do school with her, you know. So I'll even have the iPad there so that way she can do ABC Mouse. She does do ABC Mouse pretty well. She likes the games and stuff and checking in with her pets, so she does have ABC Mouse. So I might even have one of the stations be ABC Mouse, and then, you know, 2 stations for her to, you know, do some school, you know, but they'll be playing things. So I might do a whole video on that maybe once I figure out exactly what stations I'm gonna do. And then my plan with that is not to pre-plan for her, I'm going to post-plan. I'm also gonna be using a preschool little workbook that I have, and obviously she's not gonna like do the workbook, but I'm just gonna kind of get ideas from it and utilize that, so just like a resource. So I'm going to be doing like post planning, so whatever we do that day with her, I'm just gonna write it down, maybe any milestones, maybe anything that she learned, anything new. It'll give me a better idea of where she's at for next year. But yeah guys, that's all I have for this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.